mandate, or basically, yeah, they mandated that the winner of Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz must face Devin Haney as the mandatory interim challenger. They would become the interim champion, which means they would be the WBC interim champion, and immediately that interim champion should face Devin Haney. And the reason the WBC has mandated this, remember, as Bill Haney correctly said, Mauricio Suleiman can express his opinions on things, but if he's not speaking officially as the WBC president of the board of directors, and what the board of directors of all unanimously agreed on, he's simply expressing his opinion. In a talk with Punch Drunk Boxing tried to say, tried to get Bill Haney to say that Mauricio Suleiman was lying when he said that Teofimo Lopez was the undisputed champion. And I think that's just very, very wrong to say. You cannot predict somebody's motives. You can say that Mauricio Suleiman was wrong in terms of Teofimo Lopez being the undisputed champion, but you can't say he's lying, because Mauricio Suleiman probably truly believes that Teofimo Lopez is the undisputed champion with his franchise championship belt. However, the rest of the boxing community does not. The other sanctioning bodies do not see Teofimo Lopez as undisputed. It is a disputable claim, and therefore Devin Haney is seen as the WBC champ, and Teofimo Lopez is looked at as a higher status of a fighter in terms of the franchise belt representing the WBC, but he does not represent all sanctioning bodies. Therefore, it is not a undisputed claim that he is undisputed. That's basically it. So I'm just going off target a little bit, mind you. So Mauricio Suleiman's opinion, his vote in the council in the WBC, doesn't make it a WBC ruling. I think that's one of the clear things Bill Haney clarified. So he can't say that Mauricio Suleiman is lying, but he clearly can say that Mauricio Suleiman is wrong. He can clearly say that, okay? Because we are disputing Teofimo Lopez's undisputed status. However, having said all of that, and we criticize the WBC for, I've criticized the WBC for many things, you know, from the franchise championship, which I think is just unnecessary, to some of the questionable things that they've done when it comes to people being caught using PEDs. The WBC does numerous good things, okay, including offering VADA testing, which is the reason why we even know that certain people are getting caught using PEDs, to just numerous amounts of things. They have many different programs, like they have the boxing program for the people who are paraplegics, or people who cannot use their feet and using wheelchair boxing. So many amendments they've made to the Olympics, so many donations and caring for fighters and former champions that the WBC looks out for. I mean, the WBC is like the iconic sanctioning body, okay? And Mauricio Suleiman, following in his father's footsteps, has continued many really great initiatives with the WBC. So I'm not here to say that the WBC should be done away with and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that. I'm just criticizing and calling out certain things which are just wrong. And like Mauricio is just doing some crazy stuff. And Mauricio will be making a lot of belts lately, and you've been collecting on a lot of belts. And like, you know, Floyd Mayweather, who's a very influential figure in boxing, said, you got to stop. It's just too many belts, buddies. We're doing too many belts now. Now people can't keep track of it. So I love that the WBC did this. Is mandated the winner of Ryan Garcia and Jojo Diaz, both of whom were interim champions. And they're going to do a title eliminator. They're going to do an interim title eliminator, or a eliminator, to see who is going to be the contender or mandatory. So it's the mandatory for Devin Haney. So Ryan Garcia is facing Jojo Diaz. Now let me tell you something. When I sit back, and I have been kind of hypercritical of certain things, but when I sit back and think about this is a very good thing. This works in favor of Golden Boy. This works in favor of the WBC. This works in favor of Devin Haney. Let me explain. By Ryan Garcia facing Jojo Diaz, two top Golden Boy fighters. I'm surprised Golden Boy is even allowing this to happen, and that's kudos to Golden Boy, Oscar De La Hoya, the whole team. These are two top fighters. Whoever comes out from that fight is going to be much better off in facing Devin Haney, because the winner of that fight would have been tested with a very good fighter on the level of a Devin Haney, because Devin Haney is a fighter that can do it all. And let's say Ryan Garcia, for instance, beats Jojo Diaz. There's no doubt in my mind that he would be able to beat Devin Haney. Of course, he's faced Devin Haney so many times in the amateurs and so on. There's no doubt in my mind he would be able to beat Devin Haney. He'd have the potential, and that's a 50-50 fight, right? If Jojo Diaz beats Ryan Garcia, again, the style is a Devin Haney style. So therefore, again, that's a 50-50 fight down the center. And Devin Haney hasn't been tested like those guys. They would have been tested more than Devin Haney. So in a way, this is a really great preparatory groundwork or ground plan for whoever the winner is of this interim title to face Devin Haney, because that person will be well equipped to face him and possibly beat him. So I'm thinking this is great. This is actually great for boxing. And now this is not a marination. This is a helping. Finally, two top fighters will face each other. But Jojo is coming up in weight. He's coming up from featherweight. But the point is, or I think it was super bantamweight, one of them. But the thing is, Jojo's so good that he can go up in weight because he has that defense. He has that inside work. He has that outside work. So if Jojo was to beat Ryan Garcia, which I predict Jojo would beat Ryan Garcia. I'm gonna be straight with you guys. I know Brian can box. I know Ryan can box his ass off, but he hasn't shown me great infighting skills yet. Okay, maybe they're working on it. Jojo can do it all, and I can guarantee you, Ryan ain't knocking out Jojo. So that is not happening. So at the end of the day, you know, Jojo Diaz. Let's say Jojo Diaz goes up against Devin Haney. All right. Now, it's not a foregone conclusion that Jojo Diaz will beat Ryan Garcia. Let me just make that abundantly clear, but I think he will. Because Jojo just got that skill, okay, that you can't pay for. But let's say Ryan beats Jojo. All right? Ryan beats Jojo. Then he just beat out, I think, a tougher fighter than Devin Haney, because that preparation to beat Jojo. Now he has to beat Jojo. If is given the decision, you know, Jojo beat his ass, and they give Ryan the decision. Well, that would be stupid. You know, it'll be a good learning experience for him, but it'll be stupid. But anyhow you take it, Devin Haney's not going to be as tough a fight on the inside, particularly as Jojo Diaz is. And Ryan has faced Devin a number of times and got wins over him. So that would increase Ryan's chances to beat Devin Haney. No doubt about it, no diggity. So this is actually very, very good, what is happening. And a lot of times we as fans want to see the best fights and we want to rush fighters along. And I heard Leonard Elby yesterday on the Boxing Voice talking about how it's a process. And these guys, they need to go through the process. Sugar Ray Leonard went through the process. Back in the day, they had different guys, different levels, and they had it outlined pretty good in the 80s. Where you had the NABF title. Once you got to the NABF title, the next title you had to go up against was the champion. So you'd be fighting guys of different skill sets. Remember, Sugar Ray Leonard was tested by Floyd Mayweather Sr., right? That was one of his toughest fights on the way up, right? And, I mean, Mayweather Sr. didn't have the power to really hurt Leonard. He did hurt him a couple times, but not really hurt him. And Leonard couldn't really do nothing to Sugar Ray, to Floyd Mayweather Sr. As you can see, that fight went 10 rounds. I mean, he did stop him in the 10th. He did buzz him in the 8th. You know, beat him up in the 8th. But the dude went almost all 10 rounds with him. And this dude could not punch for a fly. You know, Leonard said, you know, because his broken hands, whatever, he had some pop initially and then it just go away. So think about that. Think about that testing that Leonard said. Leonard said if this man had any more pop, I would be in serious trouble, right? That's how much credit Leonard gave to Floyd Mayweather Sr. And that was one of the guys Leonard faced on the come up. You know, that was one of the, you know, tough fighters. So he had gotten that testing. He had also got testing with the NABF title where he faced I forgot what the guy's name is right now, which was a top contender guy with a lot of power and stuff. So he got tested before he faced Wilfredo Benitez. So all I'm saying is that when you look at Mayweather, and that Benitez fight was a hell of a fight. That was a close fight, right? All the way down to the end when Leonard stopped him. So all I'm saying is that, Ryan Garcia hasn't been tested like that. You can say that, well, yeah, but Luke Campbell was good, but, he still didn't get that experience, that championship experience, that top level experience. Jojo Diaz brings championship experience to the table. You know what I mean? Jojo Diaz was a former world champion, all right, who lost his belt on scales. He didn't get beat off. And when you think about it, Devin Haney has gotten championship experience by facing Linares, right? So you got to walk these kids through the process. You can't be skipping them. Now, Ryan has passed all the easier level things with flying colors. Now, this is a real test. This is a real test for him. Just like how Devin Haney got a real test with Jorge Linares, who's a puncher. That's a puncher. And you saw what Jorge Linares could do. Devin Haney didn't drop. He didn't even drop him, right? But Linares punches and he hit him out 1, 2, 3. He hit him 3 punches in a row, real fast. Devin was staggering back to his corner, right? He did a little skanky leg thing. Now, in boxing, everybody do a skanky leg, okay? Don't get it twisted. The best boxer of our era, which was Floyd Mayweather, he did a skanky leg against a number of guys. He did the skanky leg against Maidana, if y'all remember. He did the skanky leg against Pacquiao, if you remember. And he did the skanky leg against Zab Judah. In fact, he touched the canvas actually with Zab Judah. He went backwards. He wasn't so skanky leg. He was coordinated. He just got caught with a shot, and it was a balance shot, and he kind of went back. Right? He did the skanky leg against DeMarcus Chuck Corley. Let's not forget these things now. He did do skanky leg. He got a hell of a chin, but he did some skanky leg work. Okay? He stumbled back against Maidana in the second fight as well. Right? All fighters, you gonna get hit. It's boxing. All right? So when Devin Haney got three-pieced, he got three-pieced by Linares. Linares did a bop. And he staggered back to the corner. You got to understand, man, that's part of boxing. All right? But that was good experience because we wanted to see how he'd react after he got hurt like that, after he got buzzed. And he was still pressing the action some. He was running for the clinch every now and then, and he was boxing him. He was still getting caught, though. He was getting caught in the 11th round, then he cleaned it up in the 12th. The point, anyway, I'm making is he went through adversity. So it's Ryan's turn. Let's see if he can get past Jojo Diaz, who's a way better fighter than Linares. And he got way more tools, and he's actually in his prime. So Ryan actually going to be facing a much better opponent than Devin Haney did, with much more well-refined and developed attributes than Devin Haney has. So if Ryan could somehow make it through that and not lose, which, again, I'm going to say straight up, I'm not even going to play. I see Ryan getting pieced up, and I see him losing. He's gonna lose this fight. He mightn't get knocked out. He got heart and stuff, and he got decent defense. But I'm telling you, man, Ryan gonna get beat up by Jojo gonna beat his ass up. I'm telling you. This is Jojo Diaz. I'm sorry, Ryan. I'm telling you right now, Ryan. You think Jojo is easy work? That guy is not easy work. He could beat Devin Haney. That's Jojo Diaz. Y'all gonna have respect for that dude. The only way you beating Jojo Diaz is if he don't train, he not in shape or something. That's the only way. This fight's going one way. I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all now. I'm calling this fight from here. I'm not playing. I'm gonna call this fight right now. Jojo Diaz beats Ryan Garcia. And Ryan, you gonna get your ass whipped. You gonna learn a lot, but you gonna get beat. You gonna get beat, and it's okay. I mean, you try maybe play mind games with him or something. I don't know, man, because Jojo gonna beat you. I'm telling you. He beat Tevin Farmer. I know you better than Tevin Farmer, but he beat you. You don't have the experience to deal with this dude. I'm telling you right now, Jojo gonna beat you. I know boxing. That's not a fight for Ryan. Well, anyway, it's a learning experience. He tough. He gonna make it through it. Ryan's gonna make it through it. Don't worry, Ryan. You gonna make it through it. But you gonna get beat. I'm telling you now. I mean, okay. Let me put it this way. His chances of winning are an uphill battle. You know, his chances of winning are an uphill battle. You know, I'm just saying, y'all, you need to do your homework. Y'all need to do your homework on who you facing. This dude is not a dude you play around with. JoJo, once JoJo come to fight, JoJo always show up. JoJo always show up. Y'all gonna have to rub JoJo to get that victory. Yeah, he may not stop you. He may not stop you, but he sure will get you respect. He gonna walk your ass down. He gonna do you all kinds of things. At the end of the day, you get that W, it better be a genuine W. Because if you can't get past JoJo, you're not getting past Devin Haney. I'm telling you right now, you're not getting past Devin Haney. JoJo is the baptism by fire. And y'all gonna learn. Oscar got a real good fighter right there. JoJo is a bad boy. That's a bad boy. Ryan going up against JoJo, man. Y'all got balls. Even Devin Haney going up against JoJo is, y'all got balls, man. To all them young cats trying to go up against JoJo. JoJo a different animal. anyway, man, he gonna get his shine. That's the nice thing about it. So at the end of the day, they're gonna be a winner. They're gonna be a loser, right? JoJo might spoil the whole fucking party. He might give all them new guns a L. JoJo might give every single one of them new guns an L. If you run through all of them. If JoJo got, you line them up in a row. T.O. JoJo versus Tank would be interesting. JoJo versus Tank. But I'm telling you, man, Tank can't fuck with JoJo either. Y'all serious? I'm serious. The spoiler in this whole thing could be JoJo. JoJo's a guy, when you see him, if you're a fighter, you don't want to lose, you run from him. You run from JoJo. You don't go fight JoJo. So Ryan, kudos to you. You got a lot of balls, boy. You got a lot of balls. Now that speed ain't gonna mean shit. You gonna see. You're gonna see the difference between a boy and a man. You're gonna learn about that. You're gonna see the difference between man strength and boy strength. You a boy compared to JoJo. You just a boy. JoJo is a man, and he gonna treat you like that. You gonna see. Y'all have tripping on JoJo. Y'all tripping. JoJo pay his dues. Time for him to collect now. He on a collection stage. He's in his prime and his peak prime. You understand? He's like Canelo, except better than Canelo. JoJo's better than Canelo. I'm gonna say it again. Skill-wise. Not talking craft-wise. Canelo's a very crafty guy. JoJo will never get stopped in boxing. I'm gonna put it like that. JoJo Diaz is one of them. He was well schooled by some old guys. He well schooled. All JoJo got to do is just keep his life outside the ring under control and focus in the ring and just keep training his ass off. And that brother, he's like a Hector Lopez, except he better than Hector Lopez. Y'all tripping. Y'all don't understand who this dude is. JoJo Diaz is no joke. No joke. I'm going to say it one more time. All those people who respect the sport of boxing and know boxing know. That dude, JoJo Diaz, he didn't get some decisions his way. But I'm going to say this. He a bad boy. He's a bad boy. All right? And y'all need to learn and recognize. You see how he beat, I told you he beat Tevin Farmer, man. Tevin Farmer known for his defense. This dude cracked the code. He cracked the code because he come from that cloth. Right? Gervonta Tank Davis would have a very hard time with JoJo because he are not stopping JoJo. JoJo got too much defense for you to stop him. You're not stopping him. You won't catch him with some flush shots and shit, but you're not going to stop him. JoJo is like Mike McCallum, except different style. JoJo is one of them guys that he better than Dennis Ugas. JoJo's one of them guys, okay, he don't have the one-hitter quitter power. You know? He not super duper flashy, but he's vicious. JoJo's one of them guys. You understand? And he only getting better. He's only getting better. He's solid. He's super, super duper duper solid. Tank is tremendous as well, but JoJo would test Tank because, all right, this is the best way to describe it. Emmanuel Burton and Floyd. You saw what Emmanuel Burton did to Floyd. He fucked Floyd up, right? Floyd, both eyes were bleeding. His both hands were broken at the end of that fight, right? He stopped Emmanuel Burton, but Burton was blowing kisses at him just a couple of seconds before, right? Floyd stopped Emmanuel Burton, but truthfully, Emmanuel Burton corner threw in the towel, right? Floyd said that was his toughest fight. JoJo is better than Emmanuel Burton. All right, in terms of fundamentally sound, he got his fundamentals even better. Now, Emmanuel Burton used to know how to ride shots, roll shots. Shout out to, let me see who this dude is that just came through and started talking. Shout out to Adari Pennant. What's up, my dude? Oscar Rivas versus Derek Chisora would be an interesting fight. Yeah, that's a good fight. That's two punchers. And Chisora be all over you like as if you use a hive of a beehive looking for honey, like a bear on a beehive looking for honey. So you're gonna be all over him. That's gonna be an action-packed fight. Chisora can avoid if he could avoid Rivas's power, because Rivas can really punch. If he could avoid the power of Rivas, he could get a victory. I mean, he's not gonna box him, that's for sure. Derek Chisora, he's not gonna box him, but Derek Chisora, he's getting better and better. I like how he's there, and he likes to pick fights. But I thought Chisora was supposed to face Parker. What happened? Did he face Parker? Did he face Parker? Anyway, man, Derek Chisora is a throwback fighter. He fight anybody, anytime, any place. He just want to fight. he love fighting. So I'm looking forward to it. Derek Chisora, man, he's showing he's he gonna have scrapbook boxing. Shout out to scrapbook boxing. What's up, my dude? Yeah, but JoJo Diaz, scrapbook boxing, man. Shout out to scrapbook boxing. JoJo Diaz is no joke. I'm telling y'all right now. Emmanuel Burton, ride punches, roll punches, weave, bob, the whole 9 yards. That's what Floyd was connecting, but he wasn't connecting clean because he riding the punches and stuff and coming back with something. And you saw what he did to Floyd. So JoJo can do some of those things. He doesn't do it as good as Emmanuel does. But also JoJo block punches. He dip. He knows how to roll in. He knows how to roll out. He knows how to slide in. He knows how to slide out because he's a boxer by heart. But he can also infight, and he really can infight. He put those combinations together, and he would land, and he's blocking at the same time, and he angles off his body at a beautiful angle. He could gut you. If you're not a good infighter, he could gut you real bad. Emmanuel Burton, also good infighter, but he was flashy, so he would go in and out. He'd throw a couple punches on the inside, move out. His timing and rhythm was really interesting. Adari Penner says Daniel Dubois versus Brian Jennings would be a good boxing match. Brian is a very good, solid Philly fighter. Fundamentally sound, great inside work. If Brian could get to the inside, he'd really do his work. Not the heaviest puncher, but he's really good on the inside. Places his punches very well. Again, just recently I was watching this video. Shout out to Scrapbook Boxing, by the way. I was just watching this video where, what's his name? Benavidez. David Benavidez's father was talking about placing punches. And again, I cannot explain this enough to people. If you are really good at placing punches, right? You could really, and you got good timing. You got to have good timing, obviously, for your opponent. And you're fighting him. But you got good timing. You get your opponent's rhythm. and you see what they're doing, and you can bait them into throwing the punch that you want, so you can counter them, right? That liver shot, I will never forget Hopkins versus Trinidad. Not Hopkins, not Trinidad. Hopkins versus Oscar. Hopkins didn't land no big setter shot. It was a quick shot, right? And Oscar had thrown a shot, and Hopkins, I think he feinted up top, and then boom, he caught him with the shot. Scrapbook, but you're welcome, man. You're welcome. Much love to you, brother, for what you doing right now. You doing all. I love all that stuff that you do and you put out there, and that's why I put the stuff out there as well. Right now, we're going through the welterweight division. All of the welterweight champions, from Duffy all the way down to the present welterweight champions, which is Terrence and Ugas and Errol. So we're going through all the welterweight champions. Want to go through all the light heavyweight champions, all the super middleweight champions, and so on. We want to go all the way down because some of these champions, nobody talks about them too much. I'll give you an example of one. Thomas Molinares. You know what I'm saying? Thomas Molinares was a champion for a smidgen of time. We could say he was a champion. Was he a champion? Whatever you want to do. But he was from Colombia, right? You would know this. And he faced Marlon Starling, if I'm not mistaken, right? Now, if you remember that fight back in the 80s, I think it was early 90s, late 80s, I can't remember. You remember he knocked out Marlon Starling, but it was just on the bell, just after the bell. Yeah, he KO'd Musi as well, yes. But he knocked out Marlon Starling, right? Now, the referee at first called off the fight and said, that was a knockout, whatever. And then after that, they turned around, reversed the decision, and called it a no contest. 1987. That's correct, brother. And they reversed the decision. But he was a world champ for a minute, though. Now I claim him as a world champ not because I know it was a no contest, but nonetheless, I consider that. It's kind of like I consider what's his name? I consider the guy that came up from middleweight all the way to heavyweight, and James Toney. He actually, James Toney's going to be fighting next month or this month. I think next month James Toney's actually fighting down in the Caribbean. Yeah, he fighting some dude in the Caribbean. But James Toney, I consider his win against Hasim Rahman. I don't consider it a no contest because he was taking testosterone therapy. Because as you can see, James Toney, he growing breasts and all kinds of shit. So he had to take testosterone therapy, kind of like Lamont Peterson, to keep his testosterone levels up. So back in the day, they didn't know about testosterone therapy and that you could take it. And he wasn't trying to cheat or anything. It was just that he has that condition, and he still takes it to this day, right? And so James Toney, he was taking that. So that's why they made it a no contest. But really, he should have been the guy that beat Hasim Rahman. Or was it Hasim Rahman or was it John Ruiz? I can't remember which one. But he really beat the dude. But he never got... I always thought, you know what? That dude is actually the heavyweight champion of the world. He actually attained it. So I'm just saying. Now, different people have different opinions on different things, but I'm just saying. Marlon Starling is Musi. Yeah. Nickname. Yep. He called himself the best ever. And I in a way, I kind of agree with him. Because he had that defense. He had that peekaboo style. He had that defense. You know what I'm saying? Winky Wright had that defense as well. Some fighters, man, they just have that defense. I'm not worried about them. Ain't nobody gonna knock them out, and they're not gonna take a beating because they got that defense. I always tell people, defense is the first thing you gotta have in boxing. But shout out to Scrapbook Boxing, man. I'll be watching some of your stuff, man. Yeah, defense. I tell people, the first thing you need to learn in boxing is defense. You need to know how to stand properly. You must have a proper stance, a proper base. And then the next thing you need to have is your guard up. Right? You have a proper base. You know how to move around the ring. Learn the little box step thing and then start shuffling forward. And then, nope, it's not throw the jab. That's not the first thing you learn. You got to get into your guard. Right? And what's the guard? Protect the chin. So we get into the guard first. We're not throwing no punches, right? The first three things you learn in boxing have nothing to do with throwing punches. And then after that, you can throw whatever you want to throw. Throw whatever you want to throw after that, right? Absolutely, man. Protect yourself at all times. And once you do that, that's where the sport begins to become safe. It begins to become safe because if you even if you do get knocked out, even if you do, you didn't take no big set of punishment. Maybe the guy got in a good shot. It was a good shot, and you just couldn't recover from it. I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? That keeps people alive. That don't we wouldn't have as much deaths in the ring, you know. And plus, you wouldn't even know you get knocked out, right? If you get starched, you wouldn't know we. Right? So that's better, okay? It's just a big joke. Boom. And then you sitting down on the stool or lying down on the ground or something like that, right? So that's better than taking punishment. I'd hate to see fighters taking so much punishment because I know it comes back to bite you later on. I don't care how much oxygen treatment you get and how much blood building you get to build back your marrow and stuff. You know, those nutrients are great, but you don't want to be in a situation where you have to be treating yourself, you know, some 20, 30 years after your career is over because you got, you know, these diabetic looking things, this Parkinson like stuff because of CTE and all of these things. So I try to explain to people, man, take care of yourself now, one. And two, don't be getting yourself into these situations where, you know, in boxing, you want to think about every single situation that you can encounter. Bit by bit, you start to build up yourself. And this is where, again, this is the thing I was talking about. I'll get back to the original point, which is the WBC mandating this fight. I think this is the time where Ryan Garcia, you know, could prep to get to face Devin Haney because he would actually have faced a former world champion, right? So if Ryan can get past JoJo, which I don't think he will, but anyway, if he does get past JoJo, all right, he can prove me wrong, which I'm very happy that he proves me wrong. That means he'd be ready for Devin. But it's a process, and what a lot of people don't realize is that if I'm going to debut come December, say I'm going to debut, I'm not going to face a top contender or a guy with more than 20 fights. I don't care if he lost all 20 fights. I'm not going to just jump in there with a guy who has 20 fights, right? Because that's dangerous to me. So I will go jump in with somebody on my level. I know back in the day they didn't do that. They just fought whoever, right? I know, okay? Back in the day is different. We're in different times now, okay? I'm not going to do that shit. I'm sorry. I'm going to face somebody on my level. Somebody who's either a debutant or somebody who has 2 or 3 fights already under their belt. I'm not going to try and face somebody who got 20 fights under their belt, 30 fights under their belt. You know, I'm not going to do that. That's stupid, right? So I don't care if they got beaten all 20 fights. That every beating they got, they had experience with it. I don't even care if they shot. They're a shot fighter. That means nothing because at the end of the day, you need to face somebody on your level, not somebody who's way above you. Now, I know, you don't have to tell me back in the day wasn't like that. I know. You just got in there and started doing what you do. And you fare as best as you can. But just because I may lack certain things defensively to start with, I'm going to just have basic stuff to go out there with. It would be stupid for me to go out there and there's another guy with he may not have struck gold with the other guys, but once he finds me, he just destroys me because I lack certain things defensively. Right? So, you know, as I work on my defense when I'm here and I'm training, whether it's shadow boxing, whether it's, you know, going with my old certain drills and stuff. Nevertheless, the important thing is I mustn't be getting hit by him. And he hits me still. I get hit all the time, right? Which means no matter how much I think my defense is good, it's not good. Because if I'm getting hit, it's not good. It's not good defense at all. And I know I'm open for those, you know, I'm open for hooks and I'm open for straight jabs. A jab will hit me. Even now, you can jab me and hit me, right? So I'm still in the basics. I'm still trying to learn how to slip shots and stuff. You know, I still get bopped upside the head because of the timing. That's how people time it, how they throw punches. People are very random. Some people are pretty wild out there. And you could get clipped with something you just you wasn't looking for. And I'm not the fastest fighter. I'm not quick twitch at all. So I have to box with a certain timing and a certain I have to be careful with my movements. I'm more like Mario Barrios. See how Mario Barrios was fighting Tank? He not super explosive, but he got a good jab. He's relatively quick, but he's not super quick. That's me. So I'm learning how to work with that style that I have, right? So I'm nothing super duper special. So you guys, I'm keeping it basic. I'm keeping the fundamentals right now, and I'm boxing under my fundamentals. And it's the same thing with these guys. You can't match them too high or too challenging if they're not up to the task. Now Ryan showed that he passed. He's been passing everything with flying colors. He's just been stopping guys left, right, and center. So this is why this challenge of Jojo Diaz would be presented to him because he's levels above what he's been facing. With Devin Haney, he showed he was levels above what he faced with Jorge Linares, a former two-time world champion, who has been kind of on a little run when he faced Devin. And so, Devin's got some experience under his belt by fighting Jorge Linares. And he asked Jorge Linares how he did, and Jorge Linares was giving feedback on certain things he needs to work on and so on. Because it's a fraternity. I wish I was in that environment. I wish I could fight some of them guys. And even if you lose a fight, you can go back to the winner and ask them, what do you think I did wrong here? What did I do wrong there? And they give you tips because it's a brotherhood. Like David Benavidez said how he be sparring now some of the guys he used to fight. And it's a brotherhood. You help out one another and you just try to give them a good show. Yeah, at the point in time when you're about to face your opponent, he's seen as the enemy and he's a target and so on. But after the fight, it's a brotherhood. So where people can talk with one another and bring out the best performance in one another, they do so. You listen to Tyson Fury also. Tyson Fury said, I don't like really kicking people when they down. They down. I try to kick people when they up. I'm talking my shit when they up. I try to get in their heads and shit. I want a challenge. So, when you listen to Tyson Fury, when you listen to, sometimes I see some nonsensical stuff like EJ was putting out there, really, I thought a very enlightening thing where, what's his name? The former cruiserweight undefeated world champion, he was saying to the Sky Sports head guy that Lomachenko, he's just an average southpaw, and that guy, he was like tripping over it. But it's just mind games. It's just mind games. He's playing with the dude, so you could say, you're supposed to be sided with Anthony Joshua. We should be pro Joshua because this UK versus Ukraine. And we should be looking for ways for Joshua to get the edge. You shouldn't be sabotaging Joshua like you did with the chess match where you had Joshua lose the chess match. And you got into Joshua's head, So, there's mind games and shit talk and all that stuff that goes on in boxing. And I'm beginning to realize sometimes I see some of the dumbest ass statements ever by fighters. And I'm now realizing they playing mind games with one another, and have the fans be like, what the fuck are they talking about? Fans who know boxing be like, what are you talking about? Because obviously, we all know that Lomachenko and Zav Judah, Manny Pacquiao, Alexander Usyk, these are Corey Spinks. You can name almost all the great southpaws. You can name almost all the great southpaws out there when you think about it. There's a lot. They're not a lot of great southpaws in boxing, right? We had who else we got? That's a great southpaw. Terrence Crawford. You can pick them off your hands. It's still in boxing, as much as we had Manny Pacquiao and a lot of people want to fight southpaw, there are not a lot of great southpaws, right? There's a lot of average southpaws out there, but not a lot of great southpaws. And that's important to understand because the great southpaws, they really mastered the angle of approach, the timing, their style, their speed. It's not just about being a southpaw. Because you can be a southpaw, but you're a meh southpaw. You still getting beat up because you're not cutting your angles right. You don't have the right approach to how to dictate a fight. So the other guy, he's able to find you and beat you up You know, it was another great Demarcus Corley's another great southpaw, right? These are not average southpaws. Trust me, these are not average southpaws. Yeah, average. Let's think of average southpaw. What do we mean by average southpaw to start with? Average southpaw would be like maybe let's see, who Tank is not an average southpaw, right? Um, who's like an average? Erislandy Lara is not an average southpaw. So what do we mean by average? Average is like a dude that mixes in with the population. He never separated himself, so you don't even know he have a name because he's average, right? He mixes in with every other boxer in pro boxing, and you know he's got a record like every other boxer in pro boxing, and he's losing fights like every other fighter in pro boxing, probably even less. Maybe even has a losing record. You know, if I mention a name, y'all would be like, "Who?" You know what I mean? And again, that's because again we're talking about average. The average dude, you don't know who he is. He's Joe Blow, right? So the obviously, if you know the name, the dude ain't average, right? It's not average, you know. And we have some great southpaws through the history of boxing, but right now it's just a select few. I think Sergio Martinez is another one that's out there right now. He's still boxing. It's not many. It's not many. A lot of boxers are orthodox fighters. We got nope, he's not one. I was thinking Stephen Fulton, but Stephen Fulton is not a southpaw. It's not many. There's Jerome Ennis, but he's a switch hitter. Terrence Crawford, he's a switch hitter. Tyson Fury, but he's a switch hitter. He's not really a southpaw. He goes southpaw, but he's not really a southpaw. Terrence is more southpaw, and Jerome can do both. So, but they will go southpaw if they realize it's difficult for the other fighter to deal with them. They'll go back orthodox. Yeah. But yeah, there's not many southpaws in boxing. I just noticed that. Luis Ortiz is another southpaw. There's not many southpaws in boxing. That's interesting. At the top level. They got a lot of boxers in boxing, but not many southpaws. Still to this day, there's not many southpaws. So, Tevin Farmer's a southpaw. You know, I'm a southpaw, but I'm not a great boxer. But I like boxing southpaw. My stronger hand is my right hand. That's my power hand actually, but I like boxing off southpaw stance. I like it. But maybe I should start switch hitting. Maybe I should try and be a switch hitter. I don't know because when you try to switch, you could get popped in between trying to switch over. So you have to know what you're doing. James Toney used to switch either hand, either shoulder, because he fought on the inside. So he pivot around you and he give you the blade either way. So cool. Jersey Joe Walker used to do the same thing. Yeah, man. Anyway, let me get out of here. So I compliment the WBC on this. This is a very good thing they're doing. Yeah, we need one champion, man. We need one champion for one sanctioning body, and if we can get all the champions consolidated as one champion, and then guys just go and face that champion, that would be great. That would be great. All sanctioning bodies will still collect their monies. But yeah, man, scrapbook boxing, man. Salute to you, brother. You will see me coming through again. But all sanctioning bodies collecting their monies and stuff, and it'll be good. It'll be good. You know, I wish we could get one champion per division. I don't know, man. And then that champion defend his title per division. That would be great. That would make boxing so much more easier to digest for the casual fans. Now, as fans, the business of boxing would be interesting because now you got one champion instead of multiple champions. So it's just from one champion you're getting all these sanctioning fees. You know, and it would be interesting. It would be interesting. But I'm hoping that we can get back to that point where we have one champion. You have undisputed. It happened in heavyweight boxing for a little bit. And maybe it happens again at heavyweight. Even if you get that undisputed champion for maybe a year or two, and then kind of breaks down, and you got all these different belts again. But it would be great if you got one champion. I just think so. Anyway, peoples, that's what you need. 45 minutes. That was way too long. We got to start making short videos. So I'm gonna try and condense these conversations, and we will have some streaming at some point in time with you guys on StreamYard, so you can come in and talk. I need to get a little bit more organized. I'm not very organized here, as you can tell. I just kind of spontaneously put up videos, so nobody knows when I'm gonna come up. And there's a lot of things I do which are very spontaneous, and it's only because I'm still organizing my life and getting things in order in other areas of my life and other areas of business. I have 4 businesses that I run. Um, there's one offline, no, 2 offline and 2 online. So I'm trying to coordinate it. I probably need somebody to manage my life, but I'm trying to coordinate so I can get it really organized well. As you can see, I don't even have time to get a haircut. Right now, I'm low on capital because I invested in so many different things. So we'll see how it goes, but hopefully we can get it all put together properly. I'm running schedules and trying to time manage and all of that. So we'll see how it works out. But ultimately, in the end, boxing is a beautiful sport, and I don't really know much about it. I know a little bit, and we're learning, and hopefully in my journey, you know what I like about Anthony Joshua is we get to see his journey. So even if he loses a fight, we get to see him in real time as he's doing things, and he's coming back. And I think he's gonna come back strong against Usyk. Do I know if he will win the fight or not? I'll put my chips on Anthony Joshua to win the fight if he has to. Yeah, I could see him pulling it off, but it's gonna be very, very difficult to do because Usyk got other things up his sleeve that he can do. I know as a southpaw, he does. I can tell you that. I'm not gonna expose it because if I expose him, I expose myself. So I gave you guys enough information about southpaws. I'm not telling you no more about southpaws because I'm a southpaw myself. Somebody might be watching YouTube and they end up fighting me and they beat my ass. No. That's not happening. I was still learning. So I'm not gonna tell you much more about southpaws. Y'all gonna have to learn that for yourself. Or get in the ring. I invite each and every one of you, even if it's an exhibition, even if it's amateur fight or something, get in the ring, fight. And don't put it off too long. I've been talking about this since 2000 and I think it's 2014 or 15. I've been talking about getting in the ring. So it's been about 3 years now. No, what did I say? 2014, 2015? What the hell? 2015, 2016. So that's 6 years, 7 years I've been talking about this, and it's about to go down. So don't put it off too long, okay? Because you're gonna get older, and you should work on it. Just get in the ring. Get in the ring. Amateur, exhibition, whatever. Just get in the ring and get it over with. Get it over with. Get the fear over with. All of that expectation, all that stuff. My cousin said she will attend, so that's great. Get in the ring. I don't care if you're a boxing historian. I don't care what shape you're in. It's going to do you well because if you have to get into shape, that means your body's going to be healthier. You're going to have to eat the right things. You're going to have to get a trainer. You're going to have to get a coach. You're going to have to pay money. You're going to invest your time and energy in something positive that definitely is going to work well for you because you're going to be more structured. You're going to be more organized. You're going to have to put away some bad habits because your health is important. You got to be healthy enough. I would say, for those people who love boxing and are fans of boxing, if you have some sort of illness, diabetes, hypertension, obesity, please think about boxing as an alternative to get you back in shape, to get you motivated. If you like fighting, and I do, if you like fighting and you find that you're somebody who kind of is sort of on edgy all the time, you like to be explosive or you find yourself angry or whatever, this the sport for you. Trust me. You're going to find yourself much more mellow. You're going to find yourself much more because you can get to express your energy, put your energy out on something. You're punching something. And if you get in the ring and you're sparring, you can get to punch people. So it gets to, you get some of that extra energy out of you. By the time you done, one workout, you ain't got no energy to do nothing. In time, you're gonna get energy to do it, but you know, and you sleep nice. So those of you though that have sleep apnea and them kind of things, this could be great for you, especially after you get the proper diet and nutrition, and you're drinking the right fluids, and you're getting your body healthy. And you're not gonna feel for sugars and all this stuff. Depression's gonna go away. You're gonna have a lot of endorphins in your system. Yes, you're gonna get punched, so be careful with that. But if you got the proper trainer, they're going to work on your defense so that you don't lapse with your defense, so you don't get punched up. Because if you just jump in the ring and say you're going to spar with somebody, you could get beat up real bad, and that's not good for you. That'll break down your body. And if you're ill or sick, it makes you worse. This is another thing I want to say. And you know what? I'm going to do it in the next video. I'm going to catch you guys later. Peace. One thing.